In 1949, China was a land scarred by war and poverty. Most people toiled in the countryside, using simple tools, struggling to survive. Cities lay in ruins, and the nation was fractured and uncertain. On October 1st, Mao Zedong declared the founding of the People's Republic of China in Beijing's Tiananmen Square, ending years of civil war. The Communist Party promised to build a strong, fair nation, offering hope to millions who had only known hardship. The new government faced a monumental task, uniting a vast, impoverished country and creating stability. The Communists took control of land, banks, and factories, aiming to build a socialist state. This meant transforming daily life, how people worked, lived, and related to each other. Early reforms included new marriage and land laws, and campaigns to improve health and literacy. For many, these changes brought real improvements and a sense of stability after decades of chaos. The world watched as China began a journey that would reshape not only itself, but the entire globe. The founding of the People's Republic marked the end of an era and the uncertain start of a new one. The Communist Party's vision was ambitious, but the challenges were immense. The promise of a better future inspired hope, but also demanded sacrifice and adaptation. China's leaders believed only radical change could restore the nation's strength. The early years were marked by both optimism and hardship. The transformation of China had only just begun. The choices made in these first years would set the course for decades to come. The world's oldest civilization was about to embark on one of history's most dramatic transformations. This was the dawn of a new China. Under Mao, China launched the Great Leap Forward in 1958, aiming to rapidly industrialize and boost food production. The entire population was mobilized. Communes replaced family farms, and backyard furnaces sprang up everywhere to make steel. People gave up their land and tools, working in teams and eating in communal kitchens. But the steel produced was poor quality, and taking farmers from the fields led to a disastrous drop in food production. The government, misled by false reports, took too much grain, leaving millions to starve. From 1959 to 1961, China suffered one of the worst famines in history. The Great Leap Forward was a painful lesson in the dangers of top-down planning and ignoring reality on the ground. Revolutionary zeal was not enough to transform a nation. The failure left deep scars and set back China's development for years. The dream of instant transformation had turned into a national tragedy. The country would need a new path forward. The cost of these mistakes would haunt China for generations. After the Great Leap Forward, Mao's influence waned, but he feared China was losing its revolutionary spirit. In 1966, he launched the Cultural Revolution to purify society and reassert his authority. Young people formed Red Guard groups, attacking teachers, officials, and even their own families for being counter-revolutionary. Schools closed, chaos reigned, and China turned against its own history. Temples, art, and books were destroyed. Intellectuals and those with old ideas were humiliated, beaten, or sent to labor in the countryside. A cult of personality grew around Mao. His image and the Little Red Book were everywhere. The Cultural Revolution lasted a decade, tearing families apart and bringing the economy to a halt. An entire generation lost their chance at education and a normal life. When it ended in 1976, China was exhausted and disillusioned. The chaos created a hunger for stability and a more practical path forward. The wounds of this era ran deep, shaping the nation's future. China was ready for change. After Mao's death, Deng Xiaoping emerged as China's new leader in 1978, determined to take a different approach. Deng believed results mattered more than ideology. It doesn't matter if a cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice. He launched reform and opening up, starting with the countryside. Communes were dismantled and families could farm their own plots and sell surplus crops for profit. Food production soared, and rural life improved. In cities, private businesses were allowed, and special economic zones like Shenzhen welcomed foreign investment. These zones became laboratories for market-based reforms. For the first time, China opened its doors to foreign money and technology. Millions started businesses or moved to booming coastal cities for factory work. The Communist Party kept political control, but the economy became dynamic and open. Deng's policies unleashed the energy of the Chinese people and set the stage for decades of growth. China's transformation was underway, moving from revolution to pragmatic development. The foundation was laid for a new era of prosperity. The world would soon feel the impact of China's rise. Deng's vision changed China forever. Deng's reforms weren't just about the economy. They were about opening China to the world. After decades of isolation, China built ties with the US and other nations, seeking technology, investment, and markets. Foreign companies rushed in, factories multiplied, and millions moved from farms to cities. Made in China became a global label, powering an economic boom. In 2001, China joined the World Trade Organization, agreeing to global trade rules and opening its markets further. This move accelerated growth and locked in China's commitment to reform. Over 3 decades, China's economy grew at nearly 10% per year, lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty. Cities expanded at breakneck speed, and a new middle class emerged. China's transformation from a poor rural society to an industrial powerhouse was complete. Opening up didn't just change China, it reshaped the global economy. The world was now deeply connected to China's success. The stage was set for China's next leap. To support its growth, China launched a massive infrastructure boom, building roads, railways, ports, and power plants on an unprecedented scale. The world's largest high-speed rail network connected cities, slashing travel times and boosting economic activity. New airports, subways, and ports transformed the landscape and fueled trade. Alongside physical infrastructure, China invested heavily in technology. Companies like Huawei led in 5G, while Alibaba and Tencent revolutionized e-commerce and digital life. The Three Gorges Dam powered cities and factories, while China pushed into supercomputers and artificial intelligence. China was no longer content to be the world's factory. It aimed to lead in innovation. Infrastructure and technology became the backbone of a modern, powerful nation. These achievements bound the country together and propelled it onto the world stage. China was ready to compete at the highest level. The age of Chinese innovation had arrived. By the 21st century, China was a global economic powerhouse, now the world's largest exporter and a key importer. Its growth linked economies from Africa to Europe, making China central to global trade. Economic power brought political influence. China became more active in the UN and created new institutions like the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. China's soft power spread through language, culture, and development aid, especially in Africa and Southeast Asia. Loans and infrastructure projects built strong political ties, offering an alternative to Western aid. As China's power grew, its relationship with the US and the West became more competitive. Rivalry in technology, military, and global influence intensified. China no longer accepted a US-led world order. It sought a central role in global affairs. The world was shifting from a single superpower to multiple centers of power. China's rise was changing the rules of the game. The global balance was being rewritten. A new era of competition and cooperation had begun. Today, China aims to lead in science and technology, with its space program as a symbol of national pride. China has sent astronauts into orbit, built its own space station, and landed rovers on the Moon and Mars. The Belt and Road Initiative, launched in 2013, is building roads, railways, and ports across continents, expanding China's influence. The Made in China 2025 plan targets leadership in robotics, AI, electric vehicles, and biotech. China invests heavily in research and education, determined to move from manufacturing to innovation. These projects are about more than economics. They're about securing China's place as a global leader. From the far side of the moon to new Silk Roads, China is thinking big. Its ambitions are reshaping the world's future. The country is confident, forward-looking, and determined to lead. China's vision extends far beyond its borders. The world is watching China's next move. As of June 2025, China stands as a global superpower. Its transformation from 1949 is one of history's greatest stories. In just 75 years, it has become the world's second-largest economy and a leader in technology and politics. Hundreds of millions have joined a new middle class, and China's cities are futuristic and world-class. China's goals are clear: become a high-income, tech-driven nation and have a greater voice in global affairs. The Belt and Road Initiative and Made in China 2025 are central to its ambitions. The world is now deeply intertwined with China's economy and politics. The US-China rivalry shapes global dynamics, affecting trade, technology, and security. Other nations must navigate this new reality, balancing ties with both powers. China's rise challenges old ideas about development and governance. The world of 2025 has been fundamentally reshaped by China's return to prominence. How China uses its power and how the world responds will define the century. The story of China is far from over. The next chapter is being written now.